Hi people, it's me Anja. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new video. I am so excited to film today's video because when you're watching this, it's the start of Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and as an Asian person myself, I know that this video is very fitting for this month. And also, I created an Asian bookkeeper tag about 6 months ago now, and I know that some of you are participating in the Asian reading-thon, which is very exciting. So I just thought that overall, this video is very fitting for May, but also just in general. I love talking about underrated book recommendations. So yeah, here we are. The first book on this list is called Harley in the Sky, written by Akemi Bowman. I know that Akemi is a very popular YA contemporary author, and she's written other books as well. She has a middle grade book coming out in June. The Infinity Courts was YA science fiction. But at any rate, I understand that she's a very popular author, but I think that out of all of her books, this one is the most, underrated. You know what I mean? This book is so good. It follows a young girl whose parents run a circus, and after a big fight with them, she runs away to a rival circus. This book is so good. I loved the atmosphere, I loved the plot, I loved the characterization, I loved every single element of this story. This book is so well done, and it really just solidifies how talented Akemi is. I love her writing so much. I love all of her books, and like I said, she has a new middle grade book coming out in June, I believe. I think it's called Generation Misfits or something like that, and I'm so excited for it. I'm also so excited for the sequel to the Infinity Courts next year because Akemi's writing is so good, and Harley in the Sky is no exception. This book is so good, and I think that it deserves just as much hype as Starfish and Summerboard Blue. So with that, I highly recommend this book. The next book on this list is called Empress of All Seasons. This story is YA fantasy and follows a young girl who's secretly a yokai, who's competing in this competition that has 4 stages in it, all based off of the seasons, and the competition determines who the next Empress is. So that's fun. The stakes are already high, but the stakes are even higher for her because, like I said, she's secretly a yokai, and yokais are supernatural creatures that the human emperor wants to enslave and destroy. So that's fun. This book is so good, and it's so underrated, and for what? I absolutely loved the descriptive world building in this book. I love the action-packed, fast-paced plot. I love the setting. I love every single element of this story. And this book is also a fantasy standalone. We love to see it. This book is so good. It's so lovely and it's so wonderful. And this author is so talented. And I'm so excited to see what they will write in the future. I think they have a new book coming out this year, if I'm not mistaken. But at any rate, this book was so good. It's absolutely so good. I love the world building, I love the plot, I love the characters. This book is so good and it's so underrated, and for what? So with that, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Hunted by the Sky. This story is YA fantasy and follows 2 characters, a vengeful young girl who finds herself beneath the claws of royalty, and a young boy who's struggling to survive and wants to find a destiny for himself. This book is so good. I really enjoyed the world building, the action-packed, fast-paced plot, the 2 characters and how their character perspectives are intersected and connected. I love this book so much, and I'm so excited for the sequel. This book is so good, and it's so underrated, and for what? I absolutely really enjoyed the world building, the setting, the plot, the 2 characters, because they're both so well developed and distinct. This story is so good. It's so awesome and so intriguing and just so thrilling, and I really just found myself very immersed in the story and in the setting and in the world building. This book is so good and it's so underrated, and for what? And like I said, I am so excited for the sequel because I'm so excited to dive back into this world with these characters and to just see what happens next, because honestly I have no idea. This book is so good, and with that I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Red, White, and Whole. This story is middle grade historical fiction and follows a young Indian American girl in the 1980s whose life is turned upside down when her mother is diagnosed with leukemia. The story is so good. It's so timely and so lovely and so wonderful, while also being so wholesome and just so good. The story is so wonderful. I just really enjoyed it because I really enjoyed the format of the story because it really helped bring the story to life. The story is set in verse, which I thought was a very good choice because, like I said, it really brought the story to life so much more. The story is so well done, and it's absolutely so good, and it's so underrated. And for what, it's definitely one of my favorite middle-grade historical fiction books because it's absolutely so good. I love the setting, I love the world building, I love the plot, I love the characterization. Like I said, the story is so timely, and you can truly tell that this story is an own voices story because the author really just brought the story to life. This story is so good, and it's so wonderful and just so lovely, and I just really enjoyed it. So with that, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Mad, Bad, and Dangerous to Know. This story is YA contemporary / historical fiction because it has alternating narratives that bridge centuries about two young women fighting to write their own stories. This book is so good. I really should have mentioned it in the most underrated books of 2020 video that I made at the beginning of this year because this book is so good and it's so underrated, and I really enjoyed the alternating timelines and the alternating perspectives because I really enjoyed how the author connected them together. This book is so good. I really enjoyed the two character perspectives because, like I said, they're both so distinct and well developed. This book is so good, and I absolutely really enjoyed it. This is definitely my favorite book by this author, and I'm so excited to see what they will write next. I think they have a book coming out this year in September, if I'm not mistaken. But at any rate, this story was so good because I really enjoyed the plot, the two characters, the setting, how timely and important it is. The story is so good, and it's so underrated. And for what? So with that, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called I Love You So Mochi. This story is a YA contemporary and follows a young girl who travels to Japan for spring break because her estranged grandparents invite her, and she seizes the opportunity to escape from her disaster of a life. This story was so good. I absolutely just loved it because I just fell in love with the setting of the story and the plot and the characterization and the romance. The romance is so cute and it's so fluffy, and I just really enjoy it. The main character is such a wonderful, distinct, well-developed character, and I love her. This book is so good. It's so fluffy and so cute and so wholesome and lovely and wonderful, whilst also remaining so true and honest and raw as well. You know what I mean? There was never a point in time that it was so wholesome and cute and fluffy that it became cheesy or anything. This story is so good, and it's so underrated, and for what? Because it's absolutely so wonderful. This book is so good, and with that, I would highly recommend it. So in conclusion, I really recommend all of these books because they're all so good. I made this video because I really like making videos about underrated books, and I also made this video right now in particular because, like I said, it's the start of Asian American Pacific Islander Month, so yay to that as an Asian. So yeah, I never want people to think that I'm making these videos to be a performative ally or anything like that. I'm making these videos because I truly love talking about underrated books. And I think it's really important to diversify your bookshelf at all times of the year, not just 1 month of the year. You know what I mean? So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the palm tree emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.